Perhaps the first thing that comes to mind when Americans think of puppets is Muppets. But the Muppets are but a recent development in an art form that is millennia old and has existed in almost every society. Originally used in religious rituals and ceremonies, puppets today are used to teach, heal, celebrate, and entertain. Not only is the art of puppetry not new to humanity, it is not new to Detroit, which has a long and rich puppetry tradition. Detroit puppeteer Paul McFarlane was one of the most significant figures in puppeteering in the first half of the 20th century. He created the Marionette Fellowship of Detroit in 1929 and helped found the Puppeteers of America in 1937. An extensive collection of his puppets is part of the DIA's permanent collection. Detroit is also home to the largest puppet guild in North America, the Detroit Puppeteers Guild, which was founded in 1946. Another place with a rich tradition of puppeteering is Russia. Although the use of puppets can be traced back to pagan religious rituals in Russia, such as Maslenitsa, it was the Skomaroki, Russian minstrel entertainers, who began using puppets in their performances as early as the late 13th century. In pre-revolutionary Russia, the most popular puppet was Petrushka, a jester similar to Punch, who could be vulgar and aggressive in pointing out society's flaws. By the mid-20th century, Russia had a strong tradition of children's puppet theaters. Unlike American theaters, Russian theaters have permanent repertoires, rather than staging new shows each season. In 1993, Russian émigrés, Irina Baranovskaya, Igor Gozman, and Ludmila Mikhayenko brought the Russian puppetry tradition to Michigan. They formed a traveling puppet theater called the American Russian Puppet Group. In 1998, they moved to Detroit, where they opened the Puppet Art Theater at 25 East Grand River. They renovated the building, then decorated it with bright colors, puppets, and art. Puppet faces of all sorts, human and animal, thoughtful, melancholy, haunting, joyous, sad, and humorous, peer out from every corner. Almost all of the puppets were handmade by Irina Baranovskaya. Puppet arts performances include pieces inspired by North American indigenous mythology and folk tales from Russia, West Africa, Japan, and Latin America. They bring together elements of many different art forms such as theater, painting, music, and literature. You are watching an excerpt from a performance of Banana for Turtle, a play for young children based on a 1970s Soviet cartoon series. The play explores the way children look at the world through the interaction of 5 African animals and vaudeville-style songs. After the show, children have the opportunity to interact directly with the puppets, which clearly mesmerize them. In addition to puppet shows, Puppet Art has a museum displaying puppets from all over the world, including Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. They also have a studio where the puppeteers teach puppet making and performing. Before the Puppet Theater building was built, this spot was home to Detroit Business University. By 1889, annual enrollment was over 1,000 men and women. Henry Ford and Albert Cobo were among its graduates. The 6-story building occupied by the Detroit Business School has long been demolished, but Puppet Art's talented and dedicated collective continues the tradition of learning at this site. It has created a magical space where children, and adults, can explore themselves and their world through the unique art of puppetry.